Yes, Resident Evil, one of the heavy hitters in terms of the survival horror genre. The franchise has seen numerous releases as well as popular remakes of the first three, soon to be four at the time of this review, entries in the series. However, today's review isn't on one of the main games in the Resident Evil series, and it's somewhat obscure even among the side games compared to some titles like Resident Evil Gaiden. Today we'll be looking at Resident Evil Confidential Report Files 1 to 4, released on Java-enabled mobile phones. The games are a simple turn-based tactical strategy game where your character and enemies take turns moving and attacking each other on isometric grid-based backgrounds. Following a similar structure to the first two Resident Evil games, you can choose to play as two different characters. You have Tyler Hamilton, a rookie cop on his first day at guard duty. Gee, I wonder who else has a similar background, who finds himself waking up after being knocked out from an explosion at the facility he's been guarding. He quickly finds out that he's not alone in the facility and needs to fight his way out back to the police station. The other character is Naomi McLean, an FBI agent sent in to find her informants and collect evidence on the experiments being held. In Naomi's case, she quickly finds that it's not just the zombies in the facility that are out to get her. The game takes place in an unspecified city, though you could draw similar conclusions based on Tyler's outfit looking like Leon S. Kennedy's from the original Resident Evil 2, that it's supposedly Raccoon City. Though whether the events of this game take place prior to the station being overrun, or even in a different station or in Raccoon City at all, is entirely left up to interpretation. Nonetheless, the city has been quarantined, and over the 4 files you'll have Tyler going through the facility, going to an old dormitory, investigating a museum, and going back to another facility while looking for survivors and trying to uncover what is going on, while Naomi will be getting in touch with her informants. These events happen over the course of 4 days, with Tyler and Naomi running into each other in each scenario. Can they get to the bottom of this mystery? What enemies lie in wait for them? Is this game any good? Find out in The Good. I do like the visuals of the places that you visit over the course of the 4 games. All of them are very distinct visually, and that even includes the facility you're going through in File 1 and File 4. While the game does not have sound effects, at least from what I've played, the game does make use of MIDI music to help build atmosphere with distinct music to indicate when an enemy has seen you and is engaging you or not. Each file has a different exploration and battle theme, which I appreciate as well. On top of that, it appears that all of these places have underground passages, which I think is somewhat amusing. While common enemies appear to be zombies, Naomi will initially also start fighting soldiers who have been sent in to kill any survivors. We can likely assume, given their appearance, that they are the Umbrella Security Service, or USS for short. These enemies will eventually find Tyler as well, so he'll have to deal with them too. While the game's story and gameplay is very simple, all things considered, Tyler and Naomi do have unique enemies that they have to deal with in the form of boss fights. Tyler's boss fights are mostly enemies or bosses from Resident Evil 0, while Naomi has to deal with Nemesis for some reason as a boss for most of the game. Enemies in the game are mostly from Resident Evil 0 to 3, and there's generally a new type of enemy to deal with in each file. The game also gives Tyler and Naomi a variety of weapons that they can pick up and use for their respective scenarios, with weapons being different for both Tyler and Naomi. Damage to enemies appear to also be calculated depending on how far away you are, and what direction the enemy is facing when you attack them. On multiple playthroughs you may know what enemies are in what room, but where they are facing and where they're placed in the room is all up to luck. They could be in areas where you can easily shoot them from behind, or they may all be looking in your direction ready to attack you no matter what you do. Faster enemies may take multiple turns before you, making them even more dangerous the closer they are, as well as shredding your health. Some fights are better left avoided to conserve your ammunition, and there are rooms with enemies or even empty ones to waste your time. You also have to be careful when backtracking as enemies respawn after a while. Death has also gradually become less of a consequence. The first game treats saving as typewriters as temporary saves, forcing you to restart from the beginning on death, while later files will have you continuing from the last saved typewriter regardless of whether you had died or not. While there are things this game has done well in, it's not perfect, so let's look at what didn't work so well in The Bad. Aside from just how clunky the gameplay is, which can be put down to the technology of the time, the game being turn-based can work against it. If you're in a room with 3 or more enemies, the gameplay does slow to a crawl as you and then the enemies in the room need to take turns. Simply turning around or even raising your weapon, regardless of whether there's an enemy in range or not, will take a turn. Likewise with switching weapons and reloading. Free hint, shotguns that you pick up can target multiple enemies, so use them when you get surrounded and everyone's in range. The game does tend to be vague in File 4 as Tyler is told he needs to escape further into the level, yet the actual escape spot isn't in the obvious place. The place I initially went to ended up being Naomi's starting point. There was also a room that Tyler couldn't gain access to, and I spent a lot of time in ammunition trying to find a key for it, just to ultimately die. I did beat Tyler's campaign in the end, and whilst playing as Naomi, found that the door was supposed to be opened by her. I just wish that the door made more of a distinction about it. The only other thing I have to complain about in this game is the lack of transferring progress. I sort of wish that after beating one story, you can continue and play through the other characters instead of wiping your data so you can play their story. Progress I think should have been kept on one save, and a passcode should have been given out so you could carry on with your current inventory in the next file instead of always starting from scratch. Perhaps continuing from a password would replace the weapons with more ammo, or even encourage more inventory management with you having to drop or replace certain weapons. Other than that, I think that's all I had to complain about, so let's wrap it up with the opinion. For what it is, Resident Evil Confidential Report was a good use of a few hours. While the story is very bare bones and doesn't really contribute or get referenced in any other Resident Evil game, at least it stays true to what it does. A simple tactical strategy game where you pick up weapons and blast zombies and bioorganic weapons in 4 unique locations as 2 characters with different motives to be exploring the area. I think if you just want to see what's out there in terms of Resident Evil games, then this one is a curiosity to look into. So with that, it's time for my rating. I would give Resident Evil Confidential Report Files 1 to 4 a Liquor Sprite out of 10. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next Infinite Backlog review. If you enjoyed today's review, feel free to check out some of our other videos and subscribe for more. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram and our Facebook page. Once again, thank you for watching.